What a difference a month makes. Hi, my name is Shanda and I live along the Continental Divide in Idaho, and today I literally am along the Continental Divide. You may see a very small patch of snow right up in here, and those are the mountains way behind me. That's the very top. It's not the highest part of Idaho, but that is part of the Continental Divide. Last month I was feeling very overwhelmed and very sorry, I have a watery eye. I was feeling very overwhelmed and frustrated with my stitching, but what a month of attitude and growth I have had. So welcome to my channel. I'm glad I can share with you today my stitchy progress. I have about 4 different piles here I want to share with you. So it might be kind of a shorter video today. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I'm surrounded by some wildflowers over here to my left. But I couldn't film over there because it was too bright of sunshine and the camera was having a hard time adjusting. So welcome back to my channel and welcome to Stitching in Idaho. Okay, because I don't quite know how things are going to go here. I could come across a wild animal or something at any moment. I'm pretty remote, but I'm going to make this kind of a quicker video. I won't drag along too much, I hope. I'm going to share with you my finishes first. I have 4 finishes, nothing fully finished, but I do have 4 finishes. This month I kind of concentrated on some smalls. I wanted to see some progress. So the first one I finished is a freebie, a free graph compliments of hands to work, and I took a snapshot of my phone and then I just went down to Walgreens and had this printed out. But it's called Live Simply and it's a freebie, so that's why I can show you this. And this is my finish. It's got a little sticky stuff down here because it was in my scroll frames, but that is, see if we can get that to where I might have to move the camera here in a minute. It's going to get some, there we go, that's a little better. I'm going to have a lot of shade and look like I have black eyes, but I'll try to hurry so the sun doesn't come out from behind this really beautiful pine tree. I'm not in California. There's that. The next finish was a PDF download that I bought from Country Rustic Primitives, and I was working on this little dry goods pillow up here and I got it finished. This is on 18 count. This other one I started a long time ago and it's just on I believe it's 18 count. This is also on 18 count, but it's called natural linen, and I love this fabric. It almost looks like a burlap and it feels like a burlap to work on, but it's beautiful to stitch on. It makes everything look very rustic and primitive. I like it, but there's that. I'm just going to finish this into a dough bowl pillow. The next one is from the book. This is probably my biggest finish, I'd have to say, because it's been started for a while. Sorry, my one eye has spring allergies. The other one's fine, but this eye just waters a lot. My Heart is True by Blackbird Designs and Nicoletta Faruto. And it is called A Flock of Birds. I'm trying to hold things a little bit longer because I know a lot of people like to see things a little longer. And this is finished into a frame. This is on 28 count gingham Weeks Dye Works, but I'm going to finish mine into a drum. I'm going to send it off to my finisher here. As soon as I finish the video, I'm going to get a package ready for her. And here is my finish. That white heart in the middle is pretty stark, but I believe this gingham was a little bit more tea stained than the piece that I showed you the picture of. So there is that. I love the red in the alphabet here. Glad to get that one done because that's been one of my favorites. And then the last one is a finish out of this book. I guess this book is One Hot Item, and I did look it up on Amazon, and a used copy was like $90 or $95, and there's a bug that's going to fly around my head. But it's from A Schoolgirl's Needlework, a schoolgirl's work, samplers from the Spencer Museum of Arts. And it is by Barb Adams and Alma Allen. And the one I finished in here was called Hannah's Small Basket. I can only show you one page of this. That's what it looks like. This one was done with overdyes here in the photo, but mine I just started and finished with DMC. It's a really small thing. I did mine, it's on 24 count. I just did, looks like, oh, I can't even remember now because I did some with 1/1 and 2/1. This looks like it's 2/1. Hold it this way. It seems to be a little bit better in the sunlight. Love this little piece. I'm just going to also finish this into either a pin cushion or I'll find a really, really small frame. Oh, that bug. Or I'll find a really, really small frame for it. Let's see if I can get, there we go. Love that one. Okay, the next thing I want to go on to are my whips. I'm kind of on a hillside here, so everything wants to run downhill. The next thing I'm going to be concentrating on, because it's summer, I still have not abandoned my four categories: samplers, smalls, seasonal, and holiday. But for the summer, I'm going to have a summer full of samplers. I really am wanting to get, and as long as it's a whip, I haven't started anything. I didn't even start anything for Stitch Mania. I didn't want to. I wanted to finish what I had already started. I'm feeling a little anxious that I have so many whips, and I want to get my whips done. I want to get them down to a very manageable level. So I think I started the year out with 60, and I'm already down at least 4, probably down about 8. So, but I'm going to continue working this summer on paper snowflakes. This is by Brenda Gervais. And I'm doing this 1/1 on 28 count River Rock Lugana. Yeah. And I didn't put much love on her at all this month because I was working on my smalls. She still has just her scissors down there. Here's my needle minder, part of the border. So I'm going to really start concentrating on her and getting her a little bit more done. Feeling like she's getting a little bit of my time. I'm going to be continuing to work on my little birds. This is a blackbird design. I am doing mine 1/2 on 32 count Lugana. Can you see that? This is such a beautiful sampler. Beautiful, beautiful sampler. It's called for as 36, but I had a piece of 32 and I started it. And when I got my border to match all the way around, I was not going to start again. But this one I'm really starting to like because it's coming alive. I'll show you the whole thing. I got some of my alphabet done. But I am loving this first border up here. This is done with overdyes, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's really starting to look old. I love overdyes. I just cannot get enough of overdyes. But I do have a border that matches all the way around. And I was not going to start it over. So 32 count Heartland, I'm just sure of it. Yep, right here. I picture this plus. Little Birds has been one of my favorites since I bought it. And I started it last fall, I want to say. Love Little Birds. And then two that well, let me do this one first. My Sunday Stitch continues to be His Eyes on the Sparrow by Beth Twist, Heartstring Samplery. And I am doing this 1/1 on 28 count Springfield Sage Lugana. And it's very detailed, and I really, 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 really love it. It's about what I've got done so far. I've got a little bit of the border here, but that cow is kind of intimidating. And I just got some colors now to finish up the peacock. And this is my hedgehog needle minder, which I don't know where my needle's underneath it. It's probably a good thing it's still there, but I love hedgehogs. There's that one. I was in contact with Wendy from Needle Art from the Heart. Needle Art by, let's see, From the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. Sorry about that, Wendy. And I started Jobiana for Mother's Day. I take that back. I did have one start, but it was for Mother's Day, not Mania. I am starting, I'd started Jobiana. I'm gonna get both of these out because Wendy sent me a correction. Jobiana 1841. This is a beautiful, 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 beautiful sampler. And I was contacted by Wendy. She left off one of the symbols here on the back. So I wrote mine in. Sorry, I had to bend over there and pick that up. So she sent me another chart with it written in. So that's just, I told her I'd make an announcement. If anybody bought this, there's a symbol missing and the colors for that symbol. And it is right there, that very last one. And I have given this away to my friend Cree. So thank you, Wendy. I am going to continue on with my one, and I pass this one along. Thank you for doing that for me, and I will share. But my start is on 28. I know I'm doing it 1/1. Doing this one on 28 count vintage smoky white casual linen. And this is 1/1, so it's gonna be very, very dainty. I don't know if you can see that with my string. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sampler. She knocked it out of the park with this one. The colors, let me show you the colors. Sometimes I forget to do that. I'm doing this one with DMC because I don't stitch with silks. I just never have, and I don't want to start. So I'm doing this one with DMC. My little bling there. Okay, and then the last two samplers that I want to concentrate on for the summer, I'm sorry to say, are out of print, and they are both by Blackbird. Hopefully they will reprint them. I did not bring the project up here with me because all I have done is the border. It was kind of tight space riding up here today on my four-wheeler. The first one, and I'm probably not going to be giving either one of these charts away, so if they don't reprint them, I'm sorry. I'm not going to give my charts away. The first one is Birds of a Feather. I'm going to hit that one for the summer. This is also a knock it out of the park. So watch for my progress on this, along with these other ones. And Where My Heart Blooms. This one has been one of my favorites for forever. This one was from 2008. I bought this when I worked at the quilt store. Just never did it. Just never stitched it. And yeah, that's going to happen this summer now. And this one was from this other one, Birds of a Feather, 2006. So a 2006 and a 2008 are going to get done this summer. I've kind of also made another executive decision on my stitching, that as I go through my whips, each category, when I pick something to stitch out, I'm going to start with the oldest copyrighted pattern. I just feel like those have been waiting in the wings long enough and they need to be stitched. So 2006 and 2008 are going to get done this year. Okay, the next thing I'm going to move on to is I only got 2 acquisitions this month. I'm really starting to slow down my acquisitions. I have so much that I want to stitch. If I get acquisitions, I'm going to try and limit it to thread and to fabric. to stitch all the things that I have, right? To stitch all the things. One thing I got though, because I was kind of in a slump last time when I videoed, Lucy Beam, Love and Stitches, cross stitch makes everything okayer. Just love that. And I got, it's a monochromatic for the most part. That's all one color. I might do all of it one color. There's purple, a white, a yellow, and a green, and then the blue stitching. But I just got 2 skeins of Classic Colorworks Chesapeake Bay. I probably won't start this till next year, but I just love that sentiment. It was perfect. And then I did get a Blackbird design that had been reprinted. Sweet Summer Come Again. Both of these acquisitions were from Maggie's on Main, my LNS. And this one, I don't know when it was first. It's been 2020. I'm sure this is a reprint. I'm just sure of it. I might be wrong on that. Anyway, Sweet Summer Come Again. Beautiful. Look at those strawberries. I'm gonna make this one first though. I love that little pincushion. Ah, beautiful. Okay, oh, perfect picnic spot, although I didn't bring a picnic. I did draw the name for my quilted table runner, and I will put my address, my email address in the bottom here below the description, in the description box. And Barbara Stillman is my winner. She has been a faithful commenter, and when her name came up, I took a picture with it on my phone. When her name came up, I was like, yay, Barbara. She has been a pretty faithful commenter on my FlossTube, so I was glad to see that she won it. So Barbara, this is coming to your house for summer. This is a piece from Minicum Simpson many years ago, and I had a big piece. I put the whole piece on my long arm machine, quilted it, the whole thing, in couple different pieces, and I've used them for table runners, and I've given them away to a lot of different people. So but I've loved this fabric. Okay, the quilt behind me I call the excuse for my long arm. When I was piecing and I was starting to I was pretty much self-taught in 4-H, and when I had young children, when I was newly married, when I was younger, I was a self-taught quilter. And then when they got into school and I went back to work part-time, I felt like I could take a few more classes. And that was my very first class quilt, beginning quilting class quilt, from, I'll just say Nancy at the Quilt Crossing. Amazing teacher. She's been teaching that class for probably now 40 years. But I sent that out to a quilter, a long arm quilter, and I had sent 3 other quilts out, smaller ones, to 3 different quilters. And the first 2 came back okay. Who was I? I just wanted them quilted. But this one came back not even remotely. It didn't have the thread color I'd picked. It wasn't quilted the way I wanted it. She'd promised it like in about a month, and I think it took almost 6 months to come back. And I just said, okay, that's it. I'm going to get my own machine. And I did. And my husband was very supportive, and I bought and paid for my machine within like a 2-year period. But that quilt behind me, I will always cherish, because yes, it was my very first class project quilt, but it was also the one that made me decide that I wanted to be a long arm quilter. So it's just a sawtooth star, Missouri star. So I brought it up here to the mountains with me, and it stays here in my home, and it's one of my favorites. And then the last thing I want to talk about today is I have gotten a lot of not a lot, maybe half a dozen personal emails or private messages about this cross stitch. I did this back in 1990. It was a long time ago, and my initials. But this is a piece, and I'll put the exact title down here. I know this is from the Cricut collection, and I want to say it's called Shadows. I did recently see this out on 123 Stitch. It is still available from what I can tell. It's not too hard to find. But if you look closely, right, I think it's about from right in here This is the logo or the symbol that's on the outside of the shop, Country Sampler in Spring Green, Wisconsin. And I've been to that shop 2 or 3 times, and it's one of my favorites. It's not my very favorite. I love them all. I do. I have one here in Idaho, the Gathering Place, that I love. I have one in New England called Pickering Farm that I think is charming. But the reason why I bring this up today is this is the logo from the Country Sampler in Spring Green, Wisconsin. And I so enjoy quilt shops and needlework shops because they are the last thing standing that has not been truly commercialized or franchised. The ones that I've been to are each so unique and so individualized, and they show such character when you walk into the store. You feel such a bonding with each one of them. And now I have Maggie's on Main in Emmett that I frequent, and I love the quilt stores and the needlework shops for that reason. They've not been commercialized yet. They've not been, you can't buy a franchise to them for the most part. They're individual. They show their own tastes, they have their own strengths and their own weaknesses, actually, that make them beautiful, that make them divine. I appreciate them for putting on retreats and just being who they are. And these are very tough times that we have to maneuver in commercially and with our stitching dollars. And I appreciate all of them. I really do. But this has been one of my favorites. I have the companion piece stitched also. I only brought this one up with me today because it was glass and I have to really protect it, getting it back down off the mountain now. But, and the other one was done in 1990 also. I made sure I did them both in the same year. This was the year between my 2 children. So I was pregnant with my daughter. I had my son first, and I really stitched on these in the evening when he was sleeping or taking naps, and I was home pregnant with my second. So Cricut collection, I want to say it's called The Shadows, and I did just see it probably about a month ago, I would say, on 123 Stitch. So anyway, one of my favorites. I hope the beginning of summer, this is the Memorial Day weekend, and I hope the beginning of summer finds you well and happy and able to get out. I'm able to move about a lot more freely now, and my neighbor was going to a graduation, and we have a personal family wedding planned for the summer up here in the mountains at a lodge not far from where I live. It's good to just gather some families coming from Illinois, and I look forward to seeing them. We're having our own private little reunion actually for this family wedding. So I hope this summer finds you stitching, happy and well, and that you're able to get out and do some things and go see some things. Cherish it. Cherish family. Cherish the friends that you're with. Cherish those barbecues. Cherish the graduations, the new babies, the family that we've missed all these months, many months of kind of being in hibernation. Enjoy the flowers, enjoy the wind, enjoy the smells. I get inspiration from all these events in my life, and I thank my family members for supporting me and for being there for me. I thank my God for putting me in such a beautiful area that I can be inspired and that I can develop who I am, that I can develop my stitching talents and anything with needle and thread, or any kind of a hobby that I have, because I do like to make bread, I like to read, I like to do lots of different domestic things. So I'm just thankful for who I am, and we need to cherish these moments. So happy stitching and goodbye for now.